Okay, I think we are live. Okay, sorry. I'm late. I fell asleep at one point. I was literally just about to start and then I fell asleep. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know where. I don't know, man. I just got tired all of a sudden and I just fell asleep and lost track of time. Sorry about that. But anyway, hi everyone. I am Teamroller15 and welcome to one of my Rantstreams where I talk about more Dreamworks movies. This time I will talk about Antz, Shark Tale, and the two Boss Baby movies. The first one being The Boss Baby and the second one being The Boss Baby Family Business. So let's get started. Oh, hi Thomas. Lego Kid, Joshua, hi. Okay. So, I honestly kind of didn't want to do this today because most of these movies are just uninteresting. The only one that I didn't hate was Antz. The only one that I didn't outright dislike, I should say, was Antz. The other three are just bad. Antz was decent, but the other three are just bad, very bad. But anyway, Antz was DreamWorks' first film, and it was released in 1998. And then Shark Tale was released in 2004, and then you have The Boss Baby in 2017, and the sequel Family Business in 2021. Again, the only film that's decent on this list to me is Antz. Everything else is crap. So let's start with Antz. Antz. Okay, so Antz. Let's talk about Antz. A lot of people compare this movie to A Bug's Life, and it makes sense because, you know, they do have similarities, although I honestly don't remember much of A Bug's Life. I really don't. But like, yeah, I do remember that, you know, there are some similarities regarding the plot, where it revolves where the plot revolves around two characters. Each plot revolves around both plots revolve around a single character who wants to be different from, like, who isn't satisfied with mere colony life. They're both insects and they're not satisfied with mere colony life, so they want to be something else. They want to do something else. But that's where the similarities stop, I think. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about A Bug's Life because I barely remember that movie, so we're just going to talk about Antz. So, as I just said, Antz is about this ant named Z, who is tired of being basically a drone in this colony. He wants to be more than that. And the B movie has a similar premise, actually, and it's also one of DreamWorks' films. But here's the thing. Antz is basically the B movie, but not shit. That's what I think of. Like, I think of Antz as just the B movie, but not shit. Because the B movie was shit, but Antz was not shit. So yeah, Z is this ant who just wants to, you know, do something else other than work in the colony his whole life. And he seems to be the only one who has this mentality. Almost everyone else is fine with being a worker ant. And there is this one other character who wants to do something different. She's a princess. I forgot what her name was, but she's the princess of the colony, and she and Z accidentally get they both accidentally get, like, you know, they both end up outside, you know, the colony, and due to just some mishaps, and then And then at first they're not very friendly to each other, but then they bond throughout the movie as they head out towards Insectopia, which is really just a trash area nearby. That's really all it is. Just an area where there's trash everywhere, like human food and shit that's been thrown away. And the other insects hang out there. Mosquitoes, wasps, bugs, yeah, beetles, stuff like that. So, but yeah, they both head off. So they both head off to Insectopia, and they finally get there after nearly dying along the way. And in the meanwhile, like, there are soldiers from the colony looking for them, and one of them, I forgot what his name was. The colonel of the colony. He finds the princess and forcibly takes her back to the colony. So Z has to go and save her. Actually, no, it wasn't the colonel. It was his second in command who did that. The colonel actually has plans to wipe out the colony so that he could start a new one. He basically didn't like the colony as it was and basically wanted to kill everyone except a few, and then just remake the colony in his own image. So he plans to flood the entire place. But fortunately, thanks to Z and the princess and Z's friends, Weaver and Azteca, they help rescue all the ants and foil the colonel's plan. And Z basically becomes a hero and marries the princess. I don't know what happened to the colonel. Like, the movie doesn't make it clear what happened to him. He really just gets his second in command just shoves him aside and goes and helps the ants that are trapped. But anyway. But yeah, that's the movie. Oh yeah, and there was this one scene where Z had traded places with Weaver, his friend, who's a soldier ant and not a worker ant. And Z went out to the battlefield for the first time against a bunch of termites, and it was just a bloody massacre. Like, holy shit, the termites and ants were just ripping each other apart. Z survived, but only because he found shelter. Like, he was pretty traumatized by that. I would have been too. But yeah, that's basically the movie. So, positives. Positives. I will say the humor was decent. It wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't the funniest movie I'd ever seen, but it was decent. There were some moments that made me laugh. Some didn't, but some did. And surprisingly, there's actually quite a bit of cursing in this film. I even heard the word bitching at one point. Like, you'll hear the words damn, hell, bitching, ass, crap. I think those are all the ones. Yeah, like that film had quite a bit of cursing in it. Not to a huge degree, but it was quite noticeable, and I was like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, the film actually did have quite a bit of cursing. Okay, anything else? The story was I don't know. Like, I have mixed feelings about the story. I'm actually have mixed feelings about the story. Let's see. So we have animation, plot, humor, music. The music, I barely even remember the music. But I didn't remember hating it, so I'd say that the music was decent. There were a few tracks I liked, but I honestly can't remember which ones they were. But I do remember enjoying the music somewhat. It wasn't bad. It's not one of the best soundtracks, but it wasn't bad. There was one that played during the credits. That one I liked, but I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, the music was pretty decent. The story was decent, I'd say. It was decent. It wasn't perfect, but it was decent. I liked, Z and S, the journey of Z, and the princess, as they go to Insectopia. I liked that. I also liked how they bonded. That was nice too. I also like the subplot involving Weaver and Azteca, where they became a couple, and unfortunately had to they somehow the colonel, like, I can't remember what happened, but at one point they were being interrogated by the colonel regarding Z's whereabouts. So yeah, the colonel found out about that, and he beat the information out of Weaver. So there was that. But that was an interesting subplot, with the colonel trying to, like, destroy the colony because he wanted to remake it in his vision from. But it's just, but yeah, I'd say I liked the story. I will say that the story is not as present as it should be, though. Not to me, anyway. Because, like, I feel like they were going for a whole, they were going for a whole, like, you don't have to be a worker drone. They were going for that whole mentality, but I don't think the movie ever fully falls through on that, at least to me. I feel like it just, because the Calling Life is still pretty much, I feel like Calling Life was still pretty much the same after the movie. I don't think it was very different. Although I guess with Z being by the princess's side, things would be better. I think things were implied to be a bit better, but really, I'm not entirely sure what the moral is. I don't know. But even so, I did think the movie was pretty decent. Hold on one moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I'd say that the story was decent. I guess the moral was decent as well. It wants to the film tries to promote, more just individualism, and it tries to oppose like it tries to oppose totalitarianism. Like, no, like, basically it doesn't want the government to have like way too much power. That's what the film's message is. But I feel like at one point that moral kind of just takes a back seat in the plot, because once once Z and the princess go to Insectopia, they I feel like the plot kind of just forgets about the whole message there. I feel like it just lost track of what it was supposed to be doing. But I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it had a good moral, but I feel like the moral could have been a bit executed a bit better. But at least it wasn't as bad as a B movie where the theme of the movie kept jumping from one to another. So I think those are all the positives I can think of. Any negatives? Well, the animation definitely does look dated. It was fine for the era, but nowadays it doesn't look very good. It's still watchable, but it just doesn't look very good. So, yeah. That's how I feel for that about that. Anything else? I feel like the plot lost focus at one point, as I said earlier. Because is it about trying to discover Insectopia, or is it about trying to or because or is it about trying to protest the government and give the citizens more of a voice? Because I felt like the film lost focus. It tried to focus on two things at once, and didn't do that very well, in my opinion. But I mean, at least that's just me. I just felt like the plot could have had a bit more focus. But it still had decent music, decent humor, decent moral. So yeah, overall, Antz was a decent film. It could have been better, but it was all right. And now we get to Shark Tale. Okay, everyone. Yeah, this movie just I liked it as a kid, and after rewatching it recently, I still kind of enjoyed it, but it just wasn't a very good film. I'm sorry, but it's just not. So the film is about this fish named Oscar who wants to live the good life. He wants to be famous and rich and stuff like that. But he's stuck in his job at basically a whale wash, like a car wash for whales. So, but he wants to be more than just someone who works at the car wash. and he's also in a lot of debt. He he has to find a way to get the money to his boss because he owes his boss a lot of money. His not his technically not his girlfriend just yet, but his friend Angie, I believe. Yeah, the fish's name is Oscar, and his friend is Angie. She gives him a pearl, which will be enough to get him the money he needs to pay off his boss. But Oscar, being a selfish dumbass, decides to bet the money on a seahorse race, and he ends up losing the money, which gets him in trouble with his boss. And he ends up being tied up and sent somewhere else so the jellyfish henchman could torture him, basically. But meanwhile, like, there's also this character named Lenny, who's a shark who doesn't really like to eat fish. He's just not a fish eater. He's a vegetarian, much to the dismay of his dad, who absolutely like is just ashamed of his son. Like, he has two sons. There's the older brother's Frankie. He's the tougher, slightly bigger, more savage one, the one that his dad's proud of. And then there's Lenny, the younger one, the one who's just not who's really not much of a killer. And he wants him to be a killer, but Lenny he can't eat fish. He just can't do it. He'll even throw up if he has a fish in his mouth. Like, he'll throw up. He just can't eat it. He can't eat fish. And so one day Lenny and his brother go out so that his brother could show Lenny how to be a proper shark or whatever. And by coincidence, Oscar and the jellyfish henchmen are in the area, and Frankie, the older brother, tells Lenny to go and try to eat that fish, to eat Oscar. But Lenny decides to pretend to eat Oscar instead, and tries to let Oscar run away. That plan didn't work, so Frankie decides to chase down Oscar himself. And and the jellyfish henchmen, they saw the sharks and they decided to go and hide. But yeah, Frankie decides to chase Oscar himself and is about to eat him, but then he gets killed by an anchor out of nowhere. And Lenny's just heartbroken over that. And he can't bring himself to go back home. He just can't. So he and Oscar decide to just stay with each other. But before that, so the jellyfish henchmen come out of hiding, and they see that the shark that was chasing Oscar is dead, and they think that Oscar killed the shark. Well, they asked if Oscar killed the shark, and Oscar decided to go along with it because he just wanted to be popular, so he decided to lie about killing the shark, and he becomes famous as a result, which is fucking stupid because there's literally no proof of what he did, none whatsoever. Literally no one saw him kill the shark, but everyone buys it, and then Oscar becomes famous and rich over it. But to keep up the facade of being a shark slayer, he works with Lenny to pretend that he's a shark slayer. So he pretends to beat Lenny up in front of everyone, just to, you know, keep up the image of being the Shark Slayer. And in exchange for Lenny, you know, being able to hang out at Oscar's place. So, unfortunately, Angie catches on to their plan, and she's just very disappointed in Oscar. But later in the movie, Angie gets kidnapped, and Lenny and Oscar's boss go and try to rescue her. But shit happens, and because, you know, Oscar's a dumbass and doesn't know how to fucking negotiate with hostage takers or whatever. So shit happens. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Lenny at one point decides to paint himself light blue so that people wouldn't the sharks wouldn't recognize him. But, you know, his cover gets blown during that negotiation scene, so oops. But anyway, yeah. So shit happens, and Oscar gets chased by the head shark, you know, Lenny's father. But Oscar manages to trap Lenny's father at the car wash. And then he managed to actually stop a shark for once, for real. But you know, at that point, Oscar decides to come clean and tell everyone, "I'm not an actual shark slayer." And he also uses this opportunity to help Lenny patch up his broken relationship with his father. And yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. So Lenny's father at one point thinks that Oscar killed his son Frankie, which makes sense because, you know, Oscar was pretending to be the Shark Slayer, but Oscar reveals that was a lie. So actually, he thought that Oscar killed both his sons, but of course Lenny wasn't dead; he was just in hiding. But yeah, Oscar just tells the whole truth and helps Lenny get back together with his father, and also manages to get the sharks to leave the whole reef alone. And the town's all happy. So even though Oscar lied to everyone, surprisingly he doesn't face any sort of repercussions. I guess because, you know, because he got the sharks to leave the reef alone, but still he lied, so she still should have faced some consequences, but he didn't for some reason. Yeah, it makes no sense. But yeah, happy ending. Oscar becomes the manager of the car wash along with his boss. So basically they become co-managers. And there's this scene where everyone's in the car wash, everyone's happy, the fish and sharks are dancing with each other or against each other, and that's how the movie ends. Oh yeah, and there's this one fish character played by Angelina Jolie who's very superficial and likes men with cash. And at one point she takes an interest in Oscar, but then Oscar at one point decides to dump her ass in a nice way, because, you know, he realizes that it's really Angie he wants. But of course, the fish, what was her name, Lola, doesn't take too well to the news, and so she hurts Oscar and then leaves him. Like, she physically hurts him because why not? Yeah, she was a bitch. But anyway, yeah, that's the movie basically. So, positives. Okay, Wow, okay. Oh, Maple, hey! And just in time for the one movie I remember the most of the three I've seen. The most cliche and obvious lie reveal story imaginable. Basically. Yeah, Lola did beat Oscar's ass. Well, honestly, sure, her ass deserved to get dumped. I don't know why, but I personally found that scene of Lola beating Oscar up not very funny. But that's just me. I just didn't. I just didn't find it very funny, even as a kid. But if you find it funny, you know, that's I have no problems with that. I just personally didn't. But anyway, um, positives. Well, the animation is decent, right? There's that. I think it's decent. Like, it wasn't bad. It could have been better, but it wasn't bad. So, there's that. It wasn't as good as, say, Finding Nemo, but you know, I found it pretty decent. I liked the music. The music is decent. I liked the music. It was decent, I guess. So, at least to me, I know some people probably don't like the music, but I personally thought it was alright. Like, I found myself jamming to one of the tracks, a few of the tracks, while watching the movie. So I don't think the music's terrible, although it might not be everyone's cup of tea. Yeah, Lenny is voiced by Jack Black, and Oscar is voiced by Will Smith. But yeah. Well, we'll get to the character models because I agree that they look just awful. They look hideous. Finding Nemo's character models looked a lot better. Okay, anything else? Animation, music, let's see, plot, no. Humor, no. Dialogue, no. I think these are all the positives I can think of. I can't think of any others. I honestly can't think of any others. So let me just go to the negatives. Okay, so I'm just going to say it. The humor is not good. It wasn't good. It just wasn't good. Like, the film has plenty of jokes. It's meant to be a comedy, but for the most part, I just wasn't laughing. I'm sorry, but I just wasn't laughing. I just wasn't. I do remember the film being a bit funnier when I watched it as a kid. But now it's just no. Just no. It's just not very funny. I'm sorry, it's just not. The humor was just not very good. Okay. The character models were hideous. Not all of them, but quite a number of them were hideous. Oscar, for example, his character model was just kind of bad. It was just hard to look at. I'm sorry. It's just, no, it doesn't look good. It's just no. A big no. I mean, Lola's model was alright. Angie's model was, it's not as bad as Oscar's, but not as good as Lola's. But yeah, some of these characters do look kind of ugly. I'm sorry, they just do. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the music, I like the music. I like the song choices, but like, yeah, they probably weren't the best fits for the movie. But yeah, the character models just no. But yeah, the character models range from alright to just ew. Just no, ew, ew. Okay, I mean, the sharks looked okay, though. I didn't think they looked bad. The sharks looked fine. It's just the fish that just didn't look very good. Some of them just look outright ugly. Like, I kind of didn't like how the jellyfish looked. It was just like, ew, no. But, anyway, yeah. I should say some of the character models were hideous. Not all of them, but quite a bit of them. So yeah, they could have worked on the art style a bit more. Okay, anything else? Well, the dialogue was cringe. Particularly from Oscar himself. Okay, so Will Smith, Will Smith. No, I'm not talking. And no, let's forget that. Let's forget about what he did to Chris Rock. Let's just forget about that. No, Will Smith. Like he's played. Character. He's like, if you watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the character he plays there is very similar to Oscar's character here. Very similar, almost the exact same. So, but the thing is that I don't think that kind of personality worked for Oscar himself in this film. I'm sorry, I just think Oscar's personality just doesn't fit very well in this movie. Like, it Will Smith, like, this kind of thing works in your own show, but not here. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Just no. Just no. And because, like, there was just a lot of cringe dialogue especially from Oscar. Other characters had cringe dialogue as well, but it was mostly Oscar that had cringe dialogue. And I'm just like, Oscar, please stop talking. Please, you are embarrassing yourself. Just stop. I haven't watched Spirit Untamed. Sorry, I'm not quite there yet. But holy shit. Like, that dialogue was just, ugh. I'm just like, Oscar, please stop talking. And there are moments where he would just outright... Like, there was this moment during the hostage negotiation scene where Oscar was literally just dancing to MC Hammer on the table. And I was like, Oscar, please stop. You are hurting my eyes and hurting my ears. Please, Oscar, stop. Please. Like, he's just so cringe. It's just, like, the dialogue as a whole is so cringe. It's so cringe. It's just so cringe. And I was like, Dreamworks, fam, find better script editors, please. A white fish joke. I don't even remember that joke, but I'm sure it was lame, because most of the jokes in this movie are pretty lame. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Oscar talks too fucking much in this. He's just so cringe to listen to. They really should have dialed back his character. I feel like that would have made the movie a bit more tolerable. Because he's a big part of the reason why the movie just kind of sucks. Like, I don't have a problem with the characters in general. It's just Oscar in particular that just annoys me. Like, if DreamWorks had dialed back his character, then perhaps the movie wouldn't have been as bad. It still would have been bad, but not as bad. Exactly, Will Smith's performance here was cringeworthy. I don't blame him, though. I just blame the voice director. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Because Will Smith's a good actor. It's just that, for whatever reason, they thought that, a personality like Oscar's could work in this movie when it just fucking doesn't. It just fucking won't. I'm sorry. It just wouldn't. No. Just no. Absolutely not. So I'm sorry, Will Smith, that you had to be in such a bad movie. You were great in I Am Legend. You were great in that movie. What was it? That movie where you were with this, where you were a father and you had a son and you were both homeless. I cannot remember what that movie was called. But you were great in that one too. But here you're just no. Sorry, no. Ugh. But yeah. Now, Jack Black was fine, though. Jack Black, his performance was fine. I actually enjoyed Jack Black's performance as Lenny. But Will Smith's performance as Oscar, no. Just, no. No. I guess I could put that as a positive. I liked Lenny's character. I liked... Oops. I liked Lenny and Angie. I thought they were good characters. That's it. Just those two. Everyone else just ranges from just meh to blah. Sorry. Lenny kind of carried the movie, in my opinion. But not that there was much to carry, but yeah. The Pursuit of Happiness. That's what it was called. Thank you, Maple. I forgot what that movie was called. Thank you. I love that movie, along with I Am Legend. Will Smith was great in both of those. Here, no. Just no. Just no. No, they should not have copied his personality from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just no. Just no. Although that's an insult to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because Will's character was actually good there. But here, no. Just fucking no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Jack Black's performance was fine. And yeah, Lenny was actually the most likable character. I actually liked his character. Granted, a lot of his lines weren't really all that funny, but he did, in my opinion. But I actually did like his character nonetheless. Like, I did find myself laughing at the movie, but not because it was funny, but because it was cringe. Like, if I don't think you should ever have to laugh. You shouldn't ever laugh at the movie because of its cringe. You should laugh at the movie because of its humor. And Shark Tale made me laugh, but basically for all the wrong reasons. Damn. But yeah, Jack Black, I'm sorry you were in this movie too. And there were certain other celebrities that were in this movie. I already mentioned Angelina Jolie. But I can't be bothered to remember the other celebrities' names, so... Oops. But, anyway. But, yeah. Anything else regarding the negatives? We talked about... Oh. I'm trying to think. I feel like there are more negatives. Oh, yeah. Another thing. Oscar barely faced any... Well, actually, he didn't face anything, really. Oscar didn't face any any repercussions, for his actions. I mean, I get that he basically got the sharks to leave the reef alone at the end of the film, but he got off a little too easy, in my opinion. Like, he lied to everyone. And it wasn't, and like literally he was being paid a lot of money for being the shark slayer. And he even had products created after. Like, he even had products that were created for him. And he just apparently he just got away like nearly scot-free. Like, just okay, sure, that I like, no. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, fam, just no. I would think that some people would have been pissed with him. But no, apparently nobody holds any resentment towards him. Okay, sure. Sure, whatever. I don't know. Are those all the negatives? I think those are all the negatives I can think of. I can't think of any others. There are probably more, but I don't know. I would say that the plot wasn't very good, but that I feel like that kind of ties into, well, I feel like that kind of ties into what bullet points 3 and 4 here. But I guess I'll put this as its own separate point. The plot was just not good. It wasn't. It just wasn't. For various reasons. Again, you have the shitty dialogue, the lack of consequences for Oscar, the weak as fuck humor, and the fact that Oscar's pretty damn unlikable in this movie. Like, he's just outright unlikable. I'm sorry, just no. Like, for one thing, he's cringe, and you know, he's also pretty damn selfish. And I mean, he does come clean at the end, but it feels like his character, it didn't really feel like a lot of development for his character. Like, it really felt like he was kind of just the same character. But like, I don't know, it didn't feel like he developed much in the movie to me. Like, he was just pretty damn unlikable throughout the entire thing. I don't hate him, but I'm not exactly a fan of his character either. So, no. I mean, I like the subplot with Lenny and the sharks, but the main plot itself could have been a bit better. So, like, there was a clear moral to, like, there was a moral where, you know, you shouldn't lie about who you are to get people to like you. That was the moral here, but the execution was crap. Basically, it was crap because I've seen plenty of movies that do that whole thing better. That do that whole plot better. Here, like, the plot is just. It's just very basic and poorly executed. Like, fam, come on. Just come on. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but the story is just not very good. But I think that's all I have to say regarding the movie. Oh, and most of the characters ranged from boring to annoying. Again, you have people like Oscar. You have the characters like Oscar who are just so damn annoying, and then characters like say the jellyfish henchmen, who are basically just Jamaican stereotypes. That was all there was. That was all that was there regarding their characters. That was just all they were. Just boring stereotypes. So, oops. So yeah, the characters are just Ooh, I can't wait to see the Puss in Boots movie. Kung Fu Panda 4 I'm not too excited about. Because honestly, we don't need a fourth one. But hey, I mean, hopefully it'll turn out good like Toy Story 4. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be laughing. I'm just gonna be laughing. But yeah, that's Shark Tale. Like, the story is not good. For multiple reasons. And then you had cringe humor in dialogue, hideous character models. But, I mean, the animation was alright, and so was the music. And there were a few likable characters, although most of them were just boring or unlikable. So, what can you do? But yeah, overall, Shark Tale, not one of DreamWorks' best movies. Clearly, one of the worst movies that DreamWorks has ever made. But yeah, that's Shark Tale. Now The Boss Baby. Okay, so The Boss Baby is basically, I think of it as Codename Kids Next Door, but shit. Like, seriously, this movie, it's stupid. It's stupid. That's all I can say. It's stupid. It's just very stupid. And the sequel is just as stupid, in my opinion. I watched both. They're both very stupid. I think the second one is even dumber than the first. Although people like that one more, and I'm just like, how? How do you like that one more? I honestly thought the first was better, but that's not saying much. But people seem to like the second one more, and I'm just like, ew, how? Ew, just gross, ew. But, yeah. The Boss Baby. Okay, so it's basically about this corporation or organization or whatever. Organization of babies. That I don't even feel like reciting the plot of this movie. I just don't. I don't feel like it. But I'll just talk about what it's about. So, it's about this secret organization of babies who send newly created babies or whatever, newly born babies, to families. Because apparently that's where babies come from in this universe. And these babies are tasked with, protecting babies from around the world or whatever. I don't know. But this baby, I think his name is Ted. He becomes the one of the bosses of the corporation. Hence the title, The Boss Baby. And he gets sent to this family. I forgot exactly where, but the city doesn't matter. And it's the family of this boy named Tim, who was just fine with being the only child in the family and having the parents pay attention to him. But once the Boss Baby comes into the family, he ends up getting all the attention, which angers Tim. And the Boss Baby is just enjoying it. And Tim is on to the Boss Baby, Ted, I think that's his name. And actually secretly catches Ted talking to the corporation on the phone. And so yeah, that's when Ted reveals that he's actually from an organization in the clouds or whatever. At first they're pretty antagonistic towards each other, but then they realize that they have to work together when Ted reveals that there's this new toy that's going to come out. It's this robot puppy, and it's apparently so cute that when people get it, they won't ever think about having babies anymore, and there won't be any more babies. That's the villain's plan. Yeah, the villain is just this toy maker. I forgot what his name was, but I don't care. And I'm like, that's the dumbest plan ever, because if there aren't going to be any more babies in the world, then that's basically the end of the human race. No one will ever want to populate again. So, that's a messed up plan. But what the fuck ever, it's the Boss Baby. Not a lot of things make sense in this movie. So Tim and Ted team up to defeat this guy. And they also bond along the way, because why the fuck not? And they also have a breakup along the way, like every movie like this that has two people who don't like each other at first but work together. Literally every movie has this nowadays. It's basically an overused trope at this point. It's like, okay, in the third act, have the main characters break up for whatever reason, then have them come together and save the day in the end. Yeah, whatever. I'm not. It's not like, I'm fine with that trope. It's just that this movie does it in the dumbest way possible. I don't know. Like, I feel like the breakup in this movie was kind of forced, in my opinion. And it gets resolved pretty quickly, so I'm like, what was the point? but yeah, they do like make it like first they have to actually take a plane to head to the area where the toy is going to be launched, to this, like, at this convention in Las Vegas, I think. I can't remember. But so they make it there and they stop the bad guy and they save baby kind or whatever. And oh yeah, and the parents are there for some reason. They just happen to be there. I don't know. Remember why, but yeah. Oh right, that's right. They were employees. They were the ones who worked under the villain. That's right. I forgot. Yeah, they were toy making employees. That's why they were there. So they had a reason to be there. But yeah, that's basically the whole movie. It's just dumb, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Tobey Maguire voiced adult Tim in the first movie. That's correct. I was like, Toby, why are you here? Toby, you can do so much better. Granted, you didn't have very many lines, but you could do so much better. Oh, hi, Justorama. Oh yeah, that was the villain's name, Francis. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. But anyway, positives. Not very many, but the animation was actually quite good. I thought it was good. It definitely wasn't terrible. I actually liked it. The movie's quite pleasant to look at. So, yeah, I will say that the animation is definitely good. The characters are definitely very expressive here. There are some action scenes here and there, and they're pretty good. So yeah, I'd say the animation was good overall. Anything else? I mean, I guess the music was fine. The music was decent. It wasn't terrible. But not too memorable, but it worked. It worked well. I thought it was decent. It's just that I'm very bad at remembering soundtracks of movies, so yeah. Okay, let's see. What else? Anything else? I can't think of anything else. I think the only the animation music were like the good parts of the film. That's it. Okay. I guess we can just go to the negatives. Okay, so the plot was just dumb. I already explained why. I mean, the villain had a plan that was just dumb, and I'm like, fam, if people don't want babies anymore, that's the end of humankind. Like, did he not think that plan all the way through, or did he just not care? Maybe he just didn't care, but I don't know. It was just stupid. Like, I'm not against, movies being really wacky and silly. Plenty of movies do that pretty well. This movie just wasn't one of them. It wasn't. So I thought the plot was just really dumb and not in a good way. Oh, regarding the positives, I actually did like the ending where Ted decided to just stay with the boss baby. I like the ending where the boss baby decided to just stay behind with Tim's family instead of stay at the managerial job he always wanted. Yeah, like, right? It's like one of those movies where you'll just watch it out of curiosity and then you'll never like look at it again. And yeah, Alex Baldwin is basically he plays the character of the boss baby, and I'm just like, ugh. But it's a movie, I think. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you think it's a movie, but it's not. It's just very dumb. Oh, and this movie isn't funny. The humor was just not there. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. No. I'm sorry, like, it's just not a funny movie. It tried to be funny, but it failed. It genuinely tried, but it just sucked. It's just... no. Just no. Just one big no. Again, it feels like Codename Kids Next Door, but just awful in comparison. Codename Kids Next Door was great, and then you have this, and I'm just like, no, this is crap. It's just crap. But yeah, the humor was just not there. This film made me laugh only a few times. Most of the time, I was either stone faced or just rolling my eyes. Because that's just how lame the humor was. The characters Tim and Ted, they were They weren't bad, but I wouldn't say they were great either, so I'm not going to name them as either a positive or a negative. They were just alright. They were serviceable. I mean, I mean, I like that the movie attempted to build a relationship between them, but it kind of failed. Like, it just didn't give them enough time to develop their relationship. Like, they should have been given more time to develop it. So, sorry, that's just how I feel. So that's another negative. You could say that the relationship between Ted and Tim could have been better developed because there wasn't much time spent on it. There was some time, but not enough. So that's another thing. See, and going back to the first part where I said the plot was dumb, let's like again, I'm comparing this to Codename Kids Next Door. Like with Codename Kids Next Door, the concept was actually pretty cool. You know, kids wanting to rebel against teenagers and adults. Like I didn't question the world building in that series, but here I question it. Like, what's the purpose of this organization of babies? What exactly are they protecting? Like, what exactly did they do? What did they do? What exactly? Like it just like I felt like the world building in this just didn't make a lot of sense. I'm just like, okay, so you had this secret organization of babies, but why are they a thing? I didn't have this question with Codename Kids Next Door. I knew why the organization was a thing. I didn't know why with the Boss Baby, like the organization was a thing. Like just like it's just like it just feels like it was just a really dumb premise, if I'm gonna be honest. That's all I can say. Just a really stupid premise. Alex Baldwin, the one name that most folks never want to hear again. I won't say why, but if you want to know, just look up the disaster that happened last year when he was filming a movie. Fair warning, it's really disturbing and depressing. Oh, shit. Damn. I don't even know. I'd have to look it up, but I'm afraid to. It's kind of crazy how this was the last movie that Tobey Maguire was in before No Way Home, right? Exactly. Like I was like, Tobey Maguire was in this movie, and apparently he was narrating. He was the voice of adult Tim in this movie, the narrator basically, and you could hear it too. And I'm just like, Toby, I'm sorry you had to be in this movie. Rest in piss forever, miss. Boss Baby was destined for failure from the get-go. Exactly, it was. It was just a very stupid idea. I'm sorry, it was just stupid. It was just a very dumb idea. Am I a fan of the 2006 movie Cars? Of course. I did a Rantstream on it, and I loved all the movies, even the second one. Yes, I know it's bad, but I liked it. I hated Tim when he tried to launch Ted out the window. Yeah, I agree, that was pretty messed up. You didn't have to go that far. Are there any other negatives? I can think of. I don't think there are any, but let me look really fast. Oh yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, this movie kind of reminds me of Rugrats, except shit. So if this film, like, I feel like this film is a combination of Rugrats and Codename Kids Next Door, but manages to be even worse than both. And both were good, but The Boss Baby was not. So it's like, nope. And yeah, apparently this film spawned a TV series, which I don't care about. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't care about most of DreamWorks animated series, if I'm going to be honest. I just don't care. The only one I cared about was the Penguins show, which I loved, but everything else was just no. I'm not saying that everything else was bad, I just didn't care for it. Let's see. On Rotten Tomatoes, The Boss Baby has a percentage of 53 and an audience score of 51. So like the tomato meter says 53%, the audience score says 51%. And surprisingly, this film didn't just spawn a TV series, but it also spawned a sequel. And I'm just like, no. I'm just reading something really fast. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered all the negatives. So yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. I think I covered all the negatives. Basically, the story was just shit. It was shit. It was just pure shit. Yeah, I didn't know this had a TV show at first, but apparently it did. Or Netflix series. I don't know at this point, nor do I care. But it did spawn a series at one point. Tim thinks he's the protagonist when he's actually the deuteragonist. It's a dumb and silly premise that plays it completely straightforward with no self-awareness whatsoever. Exactly. That's the thing. When you watch The Boss Baby, you think, what the fuck am I watching? It's just very stupid. It's not even the good kind of stupid. You can make stupid stories work, but this just doesn't work. It's stupid, but for all the wrong reasons, you know? That's basically what The Boss Baby is. It's just a very stupid movie. And the sequel is even more stupid. The sequel is just, no. Very, very stupid. Hi, Seek, how are you? But yeah, The Boss Baby. I mean, good animation, decent music, nice ending, but overall trash story and poor as fuck humor. And then there's the sequel. Oh, God. Oh my God. This did not need a sequel. It really didn't need a sequel, if we're going to be honest. DreamWorks should have just stopped with the first movie, but no, they had to make a sequel. Just stop, please. No. Just please, God, no. Oh, it's okay, Seek. I was late to my own stream as well. But anyway. Family business. Oh my god. Okay, so Tim and Ted are now grown up. They're both adults. Tim has his own family, his own daughter, his own wife. Yeah, he has a daughter named Tabitha, and I forgot what his wife's name was. I think it was Stacy, but I can't be bothered to remember. So, yeah. And Ted is grown up. He's a famous businessman, obviously, because that's his... Because, you know, he was a businessman before, so it makes sense. And he's pretty rich. But he's always working, so he never spends much time with his family. And yeah, Tim and Ted grew apart over the years. So a new boss baby comes into the fray. Her name is Tina, and she ends up being Tabitha's younger sister. And by extension, Tim's daughter. And at one point... she outs herself to Tim as the boss, like the one of the bosses at Baby Corp, or whatever. And she wants to enlist the help of Tim and Ted to stop this school from taking away children's childhood. Like, there's a school in the area that's just been built, and it's basically teaching children how to be young adults. Like, it's making them grow up too fast. Basically, like, they're starting to learn really advanced topics like calculus and physics at such a young age and stuff like that. It makes no fucking sense, but whatever. It's the boss baby. What do you expect? And yeah, so Baby Corp is worried about that. And I'm like, oh, okay, so now they're actually protecting something for a change. It actually makes sense. Well, I mean, in the first movie they did that because they didn't want the villain to, like, release the puppy toy that would basically be the end of babies, but here it feels like Baby Corp is actually doing something for a change. But anyway, so yeah, but Ted, the thing is that Tim's the only one who remembers the whole Baby Corp thing. Ted doesn't for some reason, but Tina reminds him, and you know, Tina finds some way to restore his memories. And yeah, so and she turns them both back into their younger selves. Although there's a fucking stupid sequence of them turning back to their younger selves. Like, they were both given this bottle of special formula that would turn them back to the younger selves temporarily for like 24 hours or whatever, but they both fight over it for some reason, and so they end up like slowly going through reverse puberty or whatever, and Tina just sits there and does nothing about it. But yeah, they both basically fight over the formula and both turn back into their younger selves. But yeah, now they can all just go to the school, and that Tim and Ted can both go to the school and do a little bit of espionage. And Tabitha's going to that school too, and ever since she started going to that school, she's been acting less and less like a kid and more like an adult, where she no longer wants to do imagination activities with her father, like pretending to be in the jungle or trying to avoid a volcano or whatever. Like, she's basically growing up too fast in Tim's eyes. So So, so yeah, they both infiltrate the school or whatever, and a lot of shit happens. Oh yeah, and Tim sees that Tabitha's struggling, uh, on her first day of school, so he tries to, since he's a kid, he uses that to like help her gain enough confidence to do well in school because she's actually very smart. Um, so yeah, he just helps her through her first day of school, and she even invites him back to um, their house for dinner, and Tim decides to go along with it, even though it clearly wasn't a good idea. And even Tina's like, "Tim, what are you doing? Don't do that." But yeah, so they have dinner and whatever, and then Tim leaves, and then like the next day, I think Ted stays at the school. I don't remember. I don't remember all the events. But yeah, basically like the next day, um, well they're close. They seem Tim and Ted get close to um, fuck it. I don't even remember all the events of this film. I feel like I'm saying some things out of order. I know there's this one scene where Tina, Tim, and Ted meet up again and discuss how they're gonna take down the school before going back to it. And there's also this one stupid scene where Tim and Ted miss the bus to the school, and so they decide to get on the pony that Ted had bought Tim's family. And while the pony is like going through town, it causes a whole bunch of shit to happen. Like it causes car crashes and property damage and shit. And I'm just like, this movie is so fucking wacky. Like, just what the fuck is going on? Like, this movie just has wackiness all over it. If you thought the first movie was wacky, no, you have not watched this one. It's even more what the fuck. It's basically like, this movie is basically like the first movie, but with acid. Like, it's like the writers were on acid when they wrote this. I think they were on acid. Because that's how the movie feels. It's just very, very what the fuck. And but yeah, Tim, oh yeah, and Tabitha also has the school play, which Tim wants to watch. Tim wants it to be completed before he tries to stop the villain. Um, but unfortunately, there wasn't enough time for that. So Ted is like, okay, we need to do this now. But Tim's like, no, I want Tabitha to finish her performance. And which is a really selfish and stupid thing for Tim to say. But Tim and Ted fight over that again. They've been fighting throughout the entire film because they both have grown apart. They both had grown apart over the years. But anyway, they were fighting, and then they both get caught by the villain, the principal of the school, who is actually just a baby but a man in disguise. So yeah, Tim and Ted get captured, and then they get locked up in this room. And the room ends up filling up with water for some reason. But fortunately, the pony, what was his name? Princess breaks the door down and saves Tim and Ted. And so they both join force. They both go back to the villain to try to defeat him. And Tina enlists Tabitha's help as well. So Tabitha ends up knowing about the whole baby corpse thing. Oh yeah, and the villain's scheme in this movie is to release this app that will brainwash adults so that babies end up being in power. So whenever, because apparently the villain had this organization of babies that coded phone applications, and one application, I forgot what it was called. It was basically programmed to hypnotize any adults that used it, and which is exactly what happened. While the adults were watching Tabitha's performance of the school play, they all got brainwashed. So, yeah. But yeah, so Tim, Ted, Tabitha, and Tina. Why do the names all start with T's? I literally just realized that. But whatever. Anyway, so they all face off against the villain who was going to upload this app on the internet to and basically end up brainwashing the entire world. So they had to stop that from happening, and they did. They did. So, yay. Although Tabitha nearly falls and hurts herself. Because like there was this large room with this large tree, and the server was in that tree for some reason. Like, not an actual tree, just some synthetic tree. And Tabitha was going to fall from it, but Tim catches her. Tim caught her, and he was able to do it quite easily because the baby formula that he had drunk wore out at the last second, so he could catch her. Oh yeah, and Ted turns back into an adult too, so whatever. But yeah, they all defeat the villain and whatever. And the adults, the app shuts down. The adults all get they stop being hypnotized and whatever. And yeah. Oh, and there's this ending where everyone's back at Tim's house except for Ted, and Ted sends a letter to Tim, and it seems that Ted couldn't come and visit, but he actually did. So yeah, there was that, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, and there's also this scene where the villain okay, so apparently I don't remember what, like, he already had, like, the villain, who was a baby in charge of the whole school. He had parents, but he ran away from home for some reason. I don't remember, but he went back to them at the end of the movie, and they welcomed him back with open arms. So yay, I guess. I don't fucking know. This movie is just very stupid. But yeah, that was the movie. Very what the fuck and shit like that. Like, there were even baby ninjas at one point who were basically the security guards of the school. But yeah, the movie's very what the fuck. And it was released like sometime last year, as I said earlier. So this is one of DreamWorks' most recent entries, and man, it's just not good. I've never seen this one. I don't really care to watch it. I don't blame you, Maple. I don't blame you. Yeah, exactly. The main antagonist... I'd say the antagonist was actually better this time around compared to the last one, who barely had any screen time. So I will say that that's a positive. The antagonist was actually better. He was actually better and more enjoyable. Actually liked his character more than the last antagonist. So I will say that the antagonist of this movie was better. Definitely better than the last film. Not great, but better. The music was decent, just like in the last film. I actually liked the music. There are a few tracks I liked. I didn't hate any of the tracks, but there were a few tracks I liked. So the music was nice. The animation was good. Actually, even better than the first one. Like the first one had good animation, but this one was even better. DreamWorks really went all out with the animation in this one, because as I said, this movie is a lot wackier than the first one, but the animation reflects that pretty well. So yeah, the animation is definitely an upgrade. I guess you could say I liked the moments between Tabitha and young Tim. They were nice. Those were nice scenes of Tim, basically being a friend to Tabitha. It was pretty cool. Like those were nice scenes, because it really showed how much Tim cared for his daughter and how much he wanted to help her. So I enjoyed those scenes. Everything else was crap though. So oops. So negatives. Okay, so again, the humor was still shit. It was still shit. I'm sorry, but I don't know why. Like, DreamWorks, I don't know what it is with DreamWorks now. Like, I don't know. Like, they're just not very consistent. Like, you have The Bad Guys, which was a funny movie. You have Megamind, which is a funny movie. You have the Shrek movies, which are funny. As well as Kung Fu Panda and Madagascar. Then you have The Boss Baby. What the fuck? And it's just like DreamWorks. Did you guys forget how to be funny? Like, did you forget how to be funny? Like, because this movie was just not very funny. It just wasn't. It's just no. One big no. Just one big fat no. Absolutely not. I can count the number of times on one hand that this movie made me laugh. Same as with the first movie. It's just no. The humor is just not there. Yeah, I feel like I should cover the Troll movies and Captain Underpants. I've never seen Abominable. I've heard of it, I've just never seen it. Like, there are several DreamWorks movies I know about, but I've never seen. I've never seen The Croods, Turbo, Abominable, Spirits, Untamed, The Road to El Dorado, and so on and so forth. I know about these movies, I've just never seen them. Because I've never cared to. Oh, and Mr. Peabody and Sherman as well. I know about that one, I just never cared to see it. And I don't even think I watched... I watched like only one episode of the original Mr. Peabody and Sherman series. I've only watched one episode. I never got into that show. So yeah. Yeah, I actually liked the Captain Underpants movie. I remember watching it in theaters, and it was actually very good. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's one of DreamWorks' best movies, but it's definitely good. I actually liked it. Was there a series? I think there was a series at one point, but... I think there was, but I honestly can't remember. See, The Boss Baby Family Business is so boring that I'm talking about other DreamWorks movies. But yeah, the humor in Family Business was just not there. Sorry. And the plot was pretty boring. Like, everything not involving Tim and Tabitha was boring. It was boring. I'm sorry, it was boring. I didn't care about the school. I didn't care about the villain's plan to enslave all of adult kind. I didn't care about about Ted as a character or Tina. People say that Tina was actually a good character in this one. I disagree. I don't like her. I thought she was pretty unfunny and annoying. Like, I'm just like, Tina, shut up. Stop talking. You're not funny. Just stop talking. I mean, she's not the worst character, not even close, but honestly, a lot of the time I just wanted her to shut the fuck up. And Tabitha's school bully was also pretty annoying. But at least he was supposed to be annoying. That's why I didn't mind him very much. He was supposed to be annoying. Tina, I'm pretty sure she wasn't supposed to be annoying. She was supposed to be likable, but I just didn't find her likable. But I admit that that's pretty subjective. Some people liked her, I just didn't. I'm sorry, I just didn't like Tina as a character. Just no. She felt like a middle-aged woman trying so hard to sound funny and young, and it just didn't work, in my opinion. I was just like, stop. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Just stop. But, yeah, I'm sorry. The plot was mostly just a big pile of boring. So, okay, anything else? Like, there's not much I can say about this movie because there really wasn't much there to begin with. So, I just don't know. I just really don't know. I'd rather be talking about anything else right now. But I don't know. The characters, I mean, I would say that, there were more characters in this one, but really they're all just, for the most part, they're just pretty serviceable. I wouldn't say they're bad, but they're not good either. They're just there. Except Tabitha, I liked her character. I actually liked her character. And I liked Tim's character as well. Ted was okay. The villain was okay. But everyone else was just forgettable or annoying. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and so the one of the film's conflicts is that, as I said, Tim and Ted had grown apart over the years, and so they were basically fighting throughout the entire movie, only to realize that they really should have spent more time with each other. That wasn't that wasn't a bad idea, but I feel like the execution could have been better. Because honestly, I did not care about their relationship in the movie. I did not give a shit. I cared more about Tim and Tabitha I cared more about Tim's relationship with his daughter than with his brother. Because to be honest, this movie is kind of a repeat of the first one in that regard, where Tim and Ted have to get along again. And I'm just like, come on, we already did this in the first movie. Do we need to do this again? What is it with movies recycling plots? I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't reuse tropes or whatever, but at least do it in a way that doesn't make it feel like the same crap. Because Toy Story actually did this pretty well, but The Boss Baby, no, just one big no. So yeah, I'm going to say that I did not give a shit about Tim's relationship with his brother. I'm sorry, I just didn't. We already went through this shit. We don't need to do it again. I just did not care. Literally most of the movie's plot I just didn't give a shit about. I'm like, how are people saying that this is better than the first one? I don't think it is. I just don't. To me, they both suck. They both movies just suck. They suck. So I think those are all the negatives. Let me look at what this movie, what this movie's scores are on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently people regard this one as a better film, and I'm just like, how? How? Just how? Okay, so apparently on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a 46% score on the tomato meter and an 89% audience score. I'm not even gonna look at IMDb scores because I just don't care. And another thing that I found really stupid about the film is that Tim kept his adult voice as a kid. And I'm just like, why? Oh yeah, and by the way, he's played by James Marsden. He's actually played by James Marsden. The adult Tim is played by James Marsden in this movie. Not by Tobey Maguire, by James Marsden. You know, the guy who was in the Sonic movies and in Illumination's Hop movie. Ew. Yeah. He voiced adult Tim here. But the thing is that as a kid, Tim even keeps that a voice in the sequel, and I'm just like, why? Why didn't they just give him a kid voice? Because it just felt weird hearing young Tim speak with the voice of an adult, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it just made no sense to me. Why didn't they just give him a normal voice? No, they had him stay as had him sound like an adult, and I'm just like, ew, this sounds weird. But I will admit that I feel like the family business was trying to. I will admit that family business was trying. It did try to like. It did have the world building within it made a bit more sense in the first movie. So I will give it that. Like, it wasn't just about babies, you know. Like, it wasn't just about babies having a corporation for whatever reason. Like, it was like trying to protect baby kind. It was also about, you know, trying to protect the family this time. Hence the name Family Business. So this movie did do that. I feel like this movie did use the idea of babies having a corporation better than in the first one, but that's all I can say, really. So the film did better in that regard, but I think it's just, I'm sorry, but it was just too stupid for my tastes. That's like saying Scary Movie 2 is slightly better than Scary Movie 1. Like, neither one of them is good, and it's basically a pick your poison situation. Exactly. Although, honestly, I think the only movie I've watched out of the Scary Movie series is 3. Either 2 or 3, I can't remember. I watched like one of the two, but bits and pieces of the other. I haven't watched all the Scary Movie movies. But I mean, they aren't exactly known for quality, though. They're funny, but they aren't exactly known for quality. I'll tell you that. But I need to go and watch them again. But yeah, like Family Business, in some ways it's better than the first movie, but in other ways it's worse. So, yeah. Yeah, basically pick your poison. Okay, so conclusion. Out of all these movies, Antz is the only decent one. Shark Tale was, as Shafrillis Productions put it, a cinematic disaster. This Boss Baby movies didn't need to exist. They just didn't need to exist. The thing about them is that they just exist. They exist. But they didn't need to. So they just didn't need to exist. How was Scary Movie 4 for you? Because I honestly watched only 2 and 3. But I've been meaning to watch all of them. Let's see. Ratings. Antz. I give Antz a 7 out of 10. I didn't really have much to talk about with that one, but it was decent. I kind of liked it. It could have been better, but I kind of liked it. Shark Tale. 4 out of 10. The Boss Baby. 5 out of 10. The Boss Baby Family Business. 4.5 out of 10. Those are my ratings. Honestly, I said this earlier, but I honestly kind of didn't want to do this Rantstream because most of these movies I just did not like. So, yeah. Probably the best one overall, but that's not saying much. Haha. Antz 6 out of 10, Shark Tale 4 out of 10, The Boss Baby 5 out of 10. Basically. Those are pretty fair scores to me. So, yeah. See, I just didn't have much to say about... I feel like I had the most to say about Shark Tale because people just don't like it, and I can see why. It's a guilty pleasure for me, but well, when I was a kid. Nowadays, I don't really think too highly of it, but I did remember actually liking it. And while I don't hate it as much as everyone else does, even as an adult, it definitely had problems. Antz was decent. Like, I liked the idea of it. I thought it was a decent movie. I just wouldn't call it one of DreamWorks' best movies. And the Boss Baby movies are crap. They're crap. I'm sorry, they're crap. They're just crap. Like, seriously, the premise was just stupid. It was so dumb. And it got even dumber in the sequel. in a way. So yeah, when you come up with something like the Boss Baby, an idea like that, that's just not gonna work. As someone said in the chat earlier, the Boss Baby was doomed from the start. And I don't care about watching the Netflix series. I just don't care. I do not care. So, yeah. That's all I have to say about these movies, really. Antz is like Bug's Life. It's just fine. Basically, although I liked A Bug's Life more, I remember liking that movie. I think I watched it like at least twice as a kid, but I can't remember. I don't really remember the plot all too well. Just about this Antz, I think, who wants to be an inventor. That's all I remember. He just didn't want to live a typical colony life. That's all I remember from the movie. But I did remember enjoying it. It was one of my childhood favorites. I just need to go back and rewatch it. The best and worst thing you can say about The Boss Baby is that it's watchably mediocre. Basically. That's the thing. Like, these movies are watchable, but they are so basic. They're so fucking basic. And I'm just like, why are these movies so basic? I feel like the writing. I feel like the problem was just mostly with the writing. If the Boss Baby movies had better writing, maybe they would have been more tolerable. But as of now, I just can't stand either of them, and I would never watch them again. The second one I particularly could not stand, and I'm just like, how do people like the second one more? I just don't get it. They both suck, but I honestly thought the first one was better. Like it was a lot less what the fuck. But whatever. Yeah, I slightly prefer Bug's Life as well. Yeah, I like Bug's Life more. Neither film's amazing, but I prefer A Bug's Life to Antz. But they're both decent movies. If when you cover the Trolls film in the future, will you face James Corden again after the Emoji Movie? Oh, you will face James Corden again after the Emoji Movie. I know James Corden is in the Trolls movies, but he's actually not that bad there. He has a minor supporting role. So he's really not that bad there. Like he doesn't have very many lines, and his character actually isn't bad. So James Corden is actually tolerable in the Trolls movies, believe it or not, in my opinion. But in, say, the Emoji Movie and the Cinderella movie he made, he's just outright obnoxious. He's just, no, absolutely not. Just no. I just can't stand him. This stream definitely went on quicker than yesterday's stream because I didn't have much to say, especially for the first movie. I was like, with Antz, I was just like, okay, it was decent. That's all I have to say. I was struggling to come up with things to say about that one, so I went through that one pretty quickly. But the other three movies, I definitely had more to say. I definitely had more to say for those movies, especially Shark Tale. Do you listen to Shawn Mendes? No. But I've heard some of his songs. I've heard Stitches, there's no holding me back or whatever. Senorita with Camila Cabello. Please Have Mercy on Me. I've heard some of his songs because I hear them at work. But I don't listen to him really. I don't really listen to him or Camila Cabello for that matter. They don't interest me. I mean, I don't hate their songs. I like some of their songs, but they're not people that I actively listen to, if that makes sense. I like the Boss Baby movies the least out of these. Same. See, the thing about Shark Tale is that even though I ranked it lower than the Boss Baby movies because it's of lower quality, I'm just going to be objective about that, I liked it more. At least Shark Tale had a bit of charm for me. It entertained me. It was bad, but it entertained me. Whereas the Boss Baby movies were better than Shark Tale, but I just wasn't entertained by them. They were part of the reason why I didn't even want to do this stream at first. I was just like, I don't want to talk about these movies. They are just so basic. But anyway. But yeah, you're just better off sticking with Antz out of these 4 movies. And in other news, I just got my Sonic DVD today. You know, the DVD of the first Sonic movie with, you know, the CGI one with James Marsden and Jim Carrey. So I got that today. And it actually came with a comic, a limited edition comic called Sonic the Hedgehog: The Adventures of Sonic and Donut Lord. Which is, and I'm just like, oh, wow, okay, cool. So I was like, yay, I get a little comic. Seems pretty cool. How many pages is it? Well, I don't know. But anyway, I'll read that later. Not now, but I'll read it later. Yeah, so now I have both Sonic. Yeah, it is pretty cool. So now I have both Sonic movies on 4K. And the first one on Blu-ray as well. The first one came with both 4K and Blu-ray. The second one with 4K only. Which I don't mind. But, yeah. And the reason for that is that they just put the bonus features and stuff on the 4K disc itself. Normally they don't. Normally companies don't do that, but I think they've started doing that recently. So the Sonic 2 movie came in either 4K or Blu-ray, but not both. So yeah, yay! I got the Sonic movie. And I'm definitely going to do a Rantstream on the Sonic movies. I have to rewatch them. But because I have quite a bit to say about them. Especially regarding the second movie. Because there's one complaint I have about the second movie. And it involves a certain subplot that simply didn't need to be in the fucking movie. I'm sure you guys know which one I'm talking about. The whole wedding subplot. It didn't need to be there. I didn't care about it. It just bloated the whole movie. I'm just like, nah, get this shit out of here. The movie really should have just... The movie was really about Sonic and Knuckles and Tails and Dr. Eggman, not about this government agent and this emotional as fuck wife. Fuck that shit. Get that shit out of the movie. But anyway. I'll save that for the rant stream. I know exactly which one you're talking about, right? Right, exactly. Yo. Yo. Oh, you're a playing gamer? Oh, wow. I was just thinking about you today, actually. Holy crap. Playing gamer, it's you. I didn't even know. Okay, what's up? I didn't even know that was you. Wow, speak of the devil. Yeah, exactly. That subplot didn't fit with the rest of the movie. I was like, why is this here? Why is this subplot here? This literally could have been... I mean, I'm happy that, the wedding thing got resolved because I felt bad about the wedding being ruined, but that didn't need to be in the movie. Get that shit out of here. Oh, you lost your Google account? Damn. I'm sorry. But I'm glad you're still around. I didn't even know it was you. Nice to see you again. I was literally just thinking about you a few hours before this stream. I was like, I wonder how Plain Gamer is doing. Because I hadn't seen you in such a while. Yeah, honestly, it would have been great to have Amy introduced in that movie. That would have been the perfect time to introduce Amy. Maybe she'll be in the third movie, who knows. I know a certain character is going to be in the third movie. I won't say who, but you all know who it is. If you watch the extra scene at the end of Sonic 2, you know what character I'm talking about. But anyway. But yeah, overall Sonic 2 was great. It was even better than the first film in some ways. The first one was good, but the second was great. And for the, I believe Maple, you wrote an article about how the second movie basically redeemed Tails and Knuckles as characters, which I agree with. So yeah, Sonic 2 really redeemed Tails and Knuckles. So yeah, take notes, forces. This is how you do Tails' character. Lost World, you take notes too, Lost World. You take notes too. Anyway. Yeah, maybe Rouge the Bat and Metal Sonic might appear as well. Who knows? I don't know who would be a good voice actor for Shadow. Who knows? Keanu Reeves or Robert Pattinson. I don't even remember what they sounded like. What did they sound like? I don't remember what they sound like. Oh, your birthday passed? Well, happy late birthday, Seek. So you're 10 now. Nice. But yeah, I will definitely do a rant stream on the 2 Sonic movies, and I'll have Tim join as well because I know he definitely wants to have a piece of that. I'm probably gonna do it like next Tuesday, either Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's gonna be sometime next week, and I'll make sure to do it on the day that you're available, Maple. Oh, you're welcome, Seek. And then after the Sonic movies, I'll do the Adventure movies, and then I'll just take a break from rant streams. Robert Pattinson is the new Batman. Oh, cool. Hey, wait, actually, I think I know who Robert Pattinson is now. Wasn't he... Yeah, he was the guy who played... Yeah, that's right, he was the guy who played Edward in Twilight. I was like, wait, now I remember that name, because I was like, that name is familiar, but I just can't remember where I've seen it. But yeah, he was the guy who played Edward Cullen in the Twilight series. Which is funny because he hates the Twilight series, and he's made fun of it. And I'm just like, I love that actors are basically ripping apart their own works. I love it when they do that. But yeah, he's from the Twilight series. Man, fuck Twilight. I just can't stand that series. Like, I'm not even gonna watch the movies. Like, I there's no point in doing a rant stream on these movies because they're all gonna suck. They're all gonna suck. We all know that they're gonna suck. If the books suck, the movies will suck too. Well, I mean, you never know. Sometimes movie adaptations do books better, but sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're the same in quality, so... But I'm not gonna watch the movies. I don't care about any of them. I don't care about Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, or whatever. I don't care about any of that shit. My sister used to be a fan. I'm not even sure if she's still a fan, but she actually did enjoy reading the books, and I'm just like, how? And why? Have I seen Amphibia on Disney? No. No, I have not. Keanu Reeves is Neo in The Matrix. I didn't know that. I need to watch The Matrix, because I've never actually seen the movie. I know about it, of course. Who doesn't? But I'd never seen it. But yeah, don't worry. I think I'll have more fun with the next two rant streams because they'll be about movies that I actually want to watch. So, or movies that I'll enjoy, really. That's a better way of putting it. Because I didn't have to watch the Boss Baby movies, but I wanted to watch them because I was curious, and they suck. They suck ass. Yeah, exactly. A Twilight rant stream would just be pointless because really, most people don't like the series. So what's the point? Yeah, exactly. It would be like just kicking a dead horse. Like, we all know how bad the books are. Like, they're bad on both the storytelling level and on the technical level. It's clear that whoever edited those books apparently didn't do a very good job. Either that or Stephanie Meyer just didn't care to consider the corrections that were pointed out to her, because her work is so flawed. It's just so very flawed. So flawed. So really, there's no point in covering the Twilight movies, because honestly, most people don't even like them. I should do a rant stream of the non-stop Disney remakes that I haven't done. Yeah, I should, but not right now. Like in the near future, like in the distant future, I'll tackle the remakes, like the flops, like The Lion King, and yeah, because that was a huge flop. Like, I was like, why did this movie even exist? It didn't need to exist. And if you haven't watched the second movie, which the original movie, which I doubt, then you're not going to understand anything that's happening in the remake. You're just not. But The Lion King will probably be its own. I'll have a separate rant stream for those movies. I'll cover the first one, 1.5, 2, and the god awful remake of the first movie. But I won't cover the television series. I think there were like 2 of them. I won't cover them because there's no point. I don't care about that shit. You know, sometime I'm gonna make a Just Dance 2022 stream. Good. Oh, speaking of Just Dance, did you know that Just Dance 2023 will not be coming to Xbox One, to the Xbox One and to the PS4? Did you know about that? Which I think is a very, very, very stupid move on Ubisoft's part, because the PS4 and the Xbox One both have full body cameras, the Kinect and the PS4 camera. And you take those out and people will be able to play with only smartphones and Joy-Cons. And I'm just like, why? Like, that kind of just, that's gonna ruin the whole, like, what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense. Like, that's gonna ruin the point of dancing. Like, because not everyone wants to play with a motion controller. You can't even use a PS Move controller in the upcoming Just Dance game. You can't. Nor can you do it in 2022. Exactly, that is dumb. It's like, you take those consoles out and you're stuck with smartphones and Joy-Cons. Like, you can only play with your right hand. Like, that's such a stupid move. But you know, Ubisoft is pretty dumb when it comes to business decisions sometimes. So I hope they flop because they frustrate me as a company. They do the dumbest shit. They take your money and run, and it's just and they make some questionable business decisions, and they frustrate me as a company. I hope Just Dance 2023 flops, unless they actually add, unless they actually make versions for the Xbox One, the PS4. I hope they flop. I really hope they flop because they deserve to flop. Yeah, exactly. Removing full body cameras. Why the fuck would you do that? That's why I'm not going to touch 2023. I mean, if I do decide to get it, it'll be on my Switch. I'm not gonna play with the smartphone. I'm just not going to. It's not very safe to do. It'll just fly right out of your hands. You guys even saw me do that on like live once, like on the live stream. Like the phone literally flew out of my hand. So I'm not gonna play that way. If I do play 2023, it'll be with a Joy-Con and a strap. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't like playing with Joy-Cons. Better than smartphones, but not as good as, but just not as good as full body cameras, or even as good as the PS Move remotes. Like, so I can't use the full body cameras, and I can't use a PS Move remote. So what the fuck can I use? Just the Joy-Con? I mean, it's better than a phone, but I'm still not going to use it. No. Imagine that they actually add Rihanna songs to Just Dance Unlimited. I would love that, but we all know how Rihanna is when it comes to copyright, so yeah. They better hope they have plenty of PS5 and Xbox Series X's next year available in stores. Yeah, that's exactly. That's another reason as to why this decision doesn't make any fucking sense. Because not everyone has a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or S. Because some people are still struggling to get those. So I'm like, Ubisoft, you should have. Why would you literally just alienated more people from your game? Like, why would you do that? It was already, like, they keep doing this shit, and I'm just like, guys, you keep doing this and no one's going to want to play your games anymore. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't play Just Dance with the phone. I can do it with the Joy-Con, but it won't be as good. It'll be tolerable, but it won't be as good. I'm sorry, but I just don't want to play with a goddamn phone. But enough about Just Dance. Although I should do a follow-up Rantstream to that, because I haven't covered 2022 or the upcoming 2023, which I refuse to play. But you know, to be honest, it doesn't bother me that much because I was getting tired of Just Dance anyway. So, not that I'm gonna stop making doing streams of Just Dance. It's just that I'm not gonna touch 2023. Not until they release it for the last generation consoles. Yeah, they're making Kingdom Hearts 4. I saw the trailer. It looks like Final Fantasy. But yeah, I saw the trailer. Sora wakes up in a city called Quadratum. I'm looking forward to the game. Hopefully it'll be better than Kingdom Hearts 3, which is enjoyable, but it definitely had its issues. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it a lot, but Kingdom Hearts 2 was better. Sorry. That game's pretty hard to beat. I haven't watched The Black Phone. You know the Holmes the movie Netflix is cringe. I've never seen it. So. Sora survived the fading. Doesn't really surprise me. They weren't gonna kill him off. Like, you can't kill off the main character. Well, you can, but you know, it's very difficult to do that and have it last. You know? Yeah, it looks more like Final Fantasy than Kingdom Hearts, to be honest. Exactly, it does. It does. KH3 had probably my favorite overall gameplay in the Cage game, but it had quite a bit of story and pacing issues. Exactly. My biggest problem with Kingdom Hearts, and some of the cutscenes were way too long. That too. That's my biggest problem with Kingdom Hearts 3. It's just the pacing. The pacing is just not good. Because the problem is that most of the important shit you do is in the final third of the game. Everything else is just filler. Everything else is literally just filler. It's really the final third that you do shit. That you actually start doing shit that matters to the story. Up until then, the characters basically just wander around and waste time, not even knowing where the fuck they're going half the time. So, like, I'm just like, well, what is the story? Like, what is the structure? It's all over the place. So, that's just really fucking sad. Like, the whole point of Sora going from world to world was to regain the power of waking inside him. But guess what? He had it in him. He had it inside himself all along. And I'm just like, wow. So what we did? So going through all these worlds was kind of a waste of time. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Yen Sid. You dick. An Inside Out world would be cool. It would be. I need to watch Inside Out, by the way, but I have not seen it. But I have heard good things about it. I need to go and watch it. You saw concept art of the planet Endor from Star Wars for Kingdom Hearts 4. Ooh, a Star Wars world. Okay. Another thing that I didn't like about Kingdom Hearts 3 was the dialogue. I thought it was kind of crap. But then again, Kingdom Hearts dialogue has never been known for being great, with the constant mention of hearts, darkness, memories, friendship, light, like, all that shit. And it's just like, Nomura, you're a great guy, don't get me wrong, Nomura, but you can't write worth a damn. Tetsuya Nomura can't write worth a damn. And I know that everyone knows this, but that's something that he really needs to be told to his face. He can't write worth a damn. Both him and Masaru Oka, they can't write worth a damn. And they wrote the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 3. They suck at writing. Somebody needs to tell that to them. Tetsuya Nomura needs to stay with what he's good at, designing characters. He is not a writer, he is a character designer. Sorry, not sorry. Because his writing just frustrates me. He just makes really dumb storytelling decisions. Somebody needs to tell Nomura, hey, you suck at writing, stop doing it. But you know, people are not going to do that, especially in Japan, where the culture is, where it's basically like the higher ups have all the authority, and you can't openly disagree with them or whatever. It's just no, unfortunately. I think that's how it is in Japan. It's just pretty hard to openly express your disagreement in that country. But anyway, yeah, I'd like to see a Moana or Raya world. Moana would be pretty cool. Raya as well. Maybe Kingdom Hearts 4 would actually give Raya better, like it would be nice. Like maybe it can do Raya justice. The movie didn't do the story justice, but hopefully Kingdom Hearts 4 will. I'd like to see a Moana or Raya world. A Luca world could work. I was actually going to say Big Hero 6, but I was like, oh wait, they already did that. But that's the thing. But the thing is that Disney was, regarding Kingdom Hearts 3, Disney was quite stingy with what Square Enix could do and couldn't do with their properties. And I'm hoping that they don't make, so that the same thing doesn't happen with Kingdom Hearts 4, where you have boring ass worlds in the Frozen universe, instead of like being able to explore the city of Arendelle or shit like that, or even the castle. Yeah, I kind of wish they had done a Moana world instead of Pirates of the Caribbean and Kingdom Hearts 3. Because I feel like they could have done Pirates of the Caribbean better. Because most of the time you aren't even with Jack and the crew. So that sucks. At least you get to explore the town, so there's that. But Kingdom Hearts 2 used Pirates of the Caribbean better, in my opinion. Olympus is returning. Ooh, cool. I'm excited. But I'm also skeptical, if that makes sense. Because Kingdom Hearts 3, I liked it, but it was a bit of a disappointment in some areas. Now, to be fair, some of it wasn't Square's fault. Because, Disney just wasn't being very generous with their properties. But some of it was their fault. Square's fault, I mean. So, hopefully Kingdom Hearts 4 will do... Hopefully Kingdom Hearts 4 will do better than Kingdom Hearts 3. Maybe it might even be better than Kingdom Hearts 2, but we'll just have to see. Yeah, Olympus has been in all the 3 Kingdom Hearts games, so yeah, no surprises there. Although I'm surprised that in Kingdom Hearts 3 they brought back the Final Fantasy characters for the DLC, because I thought Nomura was done with them. But he brought them back. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we got to see Squall and Aerith and Yuffie and Sid. I don't think we see Cloud. I don't think Cloud was there. I can't remember, but yeah. Yeah, the Caribbean world was... It took quite a while to do in Kingdom Hearts 3 because of the whole crab collecting quest. Which, I didn't mind it too much, but I can see why people complained about it. Their complaints about it were pretty valid. I didn't mind it too much, but yeah, they could have reduced the number of crabs that you had to collect. I'm fine with doing tasks like this on the side, but they need to be done in moderation. Cloud disappeared in Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh, that's right. So of course he wouldn't appear in Kingdom Hearts 3. And neither would Sephiroth. So that makes sense. And I don't think Tifa was in Kingdom Hearts 3 because in Kingdom Hearts 2 she was looking for Cloud, so she wouldn't appear. It wouldn't make sense for her to appear in Kingdom Hearts 3. Ventus and Roxas are twins, basically, but with slightly different colored hair. There was a certain section of Kingdom Hearts 3 where there were a handful of cutscenes that were half an hour long. Yeah, that game was very cutscene heavy. So yeah, they could have cut down the cutscenes. But yeah, I hope Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be good. But I'm going to be cautious. I don't want to have high expectations, because if they get dashed, then that might ruin my trust in the series. Because I love the series, but it's been having problems. And even to the point where I just outright refuse to play Dream Drop Distance. I'm sorry, but I'm just not playing that game. I don't want to touch it. I played the first 2 hours. That's all I needed to do. Because the moment they started mentioning the drop mechanic and the fact that you have to you know, take care of your Dream Eaters to get stronger attacks or whatever. I was just like, I'm out. I'm out. I just don't have the patience for any of that. I just, no. I'm out. I'm out. I'm just out. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4, I don't think it's going to come until... Certainly won't come out next year. And probably not the year after. Maybe 2025 at the earliest. That seems like a reasonable estimate. But that's at the earliest. We don't really know. Like... We don't really know exactly when the game's going to be released. But it's probably not going to be released on the PS4 and Xbox One because video game companies are currently trying to move away from those consoles because they want to focus on the newer generations. Which is fair, but like the thing is that not everyone has a PS5 and an Xbox Series X or S, so oops. But hopefully by 2025 everyone will have gotten one. But for now I'm content with my PS4 and Xbox One X. Dragon Maleficent took me a year to beat in Kingdom Hearts 1. A year? Damn! Holy shit! Was she that difficult? Actually, she was pretty difficult, but I don't think I ever had that many problems with her, even on proud mode. Yikes is right. Oh, you did it in standard? Oof. Then beginner mode, I beat it. Oh, okay. But I don't think I have anything more to say at this point. I think I've talked about just about everything I could. I talked about the 4 movies that were the topic of today's Rantstream. I also talked about some updates regarding the next Rantstreams. Oh wait, hold up. What's this? I just saw something in my notifications on my phone. Oh, Call of Duty's making a Modern Warfare 2. Honestly, I stopped paying attention to Call of Duty ever since Vanguard came out. I didn't know they were going to make a Modern Warfare 2. Let's see. Let me look this one up. Modern Warfare 2. So, what exactly is going to happen here? The ultimate weapon is teams. Squad up and fight alongside the iconic operators of Task Force 141 with the return of Modern Warfare. Ooh, we get to... Ooh, Soap is here. So you see Captain Price, Soap, Gaz. I don't know who the other two characters are here that I see in this thumbnail. So I wonder how the campaign is going to play out. Is it going to play out is it going to play out like similar to Modern Warfare 2, the original one? I wonder. I have an Android. iPhones are lame to me. I don't care about iPhones. They're overrated and overpriced. But yeah, apparently Modern Warfare 2 is... I feel like it's probably going to incorporate elements of the plot from both the first game and the second game. But I don't know that for sure. There's a Spider-Man 2 coming next year. You mean a sequel to the PS4 game? Ooh, I can't wait to play that. Ah, so many new games coming out. I got to be prepared. Be prepared. I've been honestly wanting to replay the original one recently because it's good. It's one of the best. Ow, sorry. It's one of the best Call of Duty games ever. Oh wait, you're talking about Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1. Never mind. Well, that too. It's a great game as well. Yeah, I kind of stopped paying attention to video game news. But yeah. God of War Ragnarok. I've heard about that. I just haven't played it. I haven't even played the original God of War. I have it, I just haven't played it. Oh, you going to leave? Okay. Well, thank you for coming. See you later. I might as well go ahead and get started leaving too. But yeah, they overpriced they overpriced all their iPhones, but yeah, like the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I'm not even gonna look at what the price for that one is. Actually, you know what? I'm curious. Let's look it up. Holy shit! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Jesus anime Christ. Oh, damn. Hold up, let me do the math here really fast. Because I see a monthly price here. Jesus anime Christ, $1,000. No. Hell no. What the fuck, Apple? Jesus Christ, no. See, don't buy iPhones. They're rip-offs. That's my brother has one, my sister has one. I'm just like, you guys are just letting them take your money. Why would you, like, why? You're just letting them take your money. especially when there are barely any changes between iPhone iterations. Like, barely any changes between releases, so... Oh, yay, we have another camera, who cares? And Apple knows that people will buy this shit. They know that people will buy it. That's why they're so successful. God, no. $1,000 for the iPhone Pro Max 14. Hell no. No. Hell to the no. My uncle has a 13 Pro Max. Ugh, why? I forgot which one my brother had. Or my sister, but yeah. But I'm Android all the way. I have a Samsung Galaxy A21, and it's pretty good. I like Androids because you can just do more with them. Like you can use more apps with them. You can totally like develop a lot more stuff for them. With iPhone, you can't really do that. And plus, Androids are a lot less expensive, and they tend to last a lot longer too because you don't have to worry about having your phone be outdated after a certain period of time. Androids last a lot longer in that department. It takes a long time for them to be outdated compared to the iPhone, where once you can't get any more updates, you have to get another phone, and it's just like that's just a waste of money. And it's the same with iPads as well. So yeah, you can put your own launchers as well. That's the thing. Android is just a lot more flexible. It's harder to program from what I've heard, but it's a lot more flexible. So really, it feels like a genuine computer, almost like a real computer, compared to the iPhone, which is just basic in comparison. So I'm Team Android. Like, Androids are just more practical to have and to use. So, sorry, not buying your products, Apple. Not even your iPads. I'd rather get a Samsung Galaxy Tab. But I guess that's all I have to say. The last 45 minutes of this rant stream was just me talking about random shit, which I didn't mind. But, yeah. Oh, your grandfather gave you... Oh, your grandfather gave you that? That's pretty cool. I mean, if somebody gives me a free iPhone, great. Or a free MacBook or a free iPad, great. I'll use it, but... If I have to get if I have to get a device myself, I'll just stick with Android. Typically Samsung... And typically the Samsung Galaxy line, because the Galaxy line is pretty trustworthy, pretty reliable, pretty good. My last phone was a Samsung Galaxy, and so is this one. Like, the last one was an S6 Active, and this one is an A21. But yeah, never touching Android. Now to prepare for work this weekend and playoff baseball. I've got some preparations on my own to do as well. Not really, but other than the rant streams, not really. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later. This was fun though. I'm just glad to get these 4 Dreamworks movies out of the way because I didn't feel like waiting another day to do this. But yeah, that'll be the end of the rant stream. Thank you all so much for watching and listening and for being here. Seek, Lego Kid, Poisonous Maple, anyone else who showed up, Joshua V, Justorama, Brick Boy. But yeah, next time we will... Oh, and Thomas as well. Next time we will cover the Sonic movies and then the Avengers movies, and then I will take a break from rant streams. But yeah, next week we'll do the Sonic movies. I'll probably share what happens to my team on Discord. Okay, good. Keep us posted. But yeah, see you two later. Good night and goodbye. And thank you all for watching.